Welcome back to the Moda Intern Kitchen. My name is Emily and today we're making Romkugler, which we can also call rum balls or rum truffles. And this is like a no-bake recipe. So you just take a bunch of cake, maybe you have some leftover from a party or anything, and then you add some other ingredients and make these little cake poppy things. So first up, we're gonna grate our cake. And I have some different kinds here. I have some little donuts, and then I have some cupcakes. And if you're using cupcakes, you shouldn't use the icing. You might want to use a little bit if the recipe's a little dry. So what I'll do first is I'll remove most of the icing. If there's a little bit back, it's alright. And it's definitely easier to make this recipe if you have a food processor and you just throw everything in there. I don't have one, so I'm gonna use this gratey thing. I've also seen people use a fork in a dorm room and still make it, so it's fine. Whatever works for you. So I'll just remove it from the little cupcake lining and then I'll grate it. And it's a little messy, and that's why I say a food processor is better. Honestly, you can also just crumble it up if it just falls apart like this, it's fine. And then after that, you can just move it all into a bowl and then continue. And these ones are kind of dry, so that might be why we need to add some of the icing back. But you can use whatever cake you want to. I just think you should definitely use some that has a chocolate base. At least one of the cakes should be like that. And then you just continue on until you've grated all of these. Now we've grated all of our cake, and if you use the food processor, it will probably look a little more wet and a little more uniform instead of having all these like sprinkled little pieces of cake. So if you're doing this by hand, you can try to grind it up a little bit more with your fingers. And you can see it becomes kind of clumpy, and you can like kind of form it into shapes. So just do that for a couple of minutes until it's just a little more even. And you might not be able to get every lump of like cake out, but that's totally fine. This is supposed to be an easy recipe, so we don't need to make it harder than it is. Okay, so this helped a little bit, and it's fine by me. So next up, we're gonna take like a quarter cup of raspberry jam. You can use other jams like strawberry if you don't have raspberry, but this is how you usually make it. And 2 tablespoons of baking cocoa. And you can add more or less depending on how much like chocolate cake you have in there. And then lastly, we'll add 2 tablespoons of rum essence. And rum essence can be kind of hard to find in American supermarkets, I've figured out. So you can just use regular rum, but then it does have a little bit of alcohol in it, which it doesn't have if you use the essence. So I'll just add a little bit of rum here. And you can kind of taste it as you go. And then it's time to mix again. And now you mix until you have a totally uniform mass of cake. And I think this is a little dry, so I'll take, because I have the icing from the cupcakes, I'll just take like half of the icing off of one and put that into the mix too, so it becomes a little more sticky. Then you just keep going. You can use your hands too, or a fork, or if you're using the food processor, definitely use that one. Okay, so now we have the mix here, and I added a little bit more of everything, and you can kind of taste along the way. If you think it tastes good, then that's fine. And it should still be kind of sticky, because now we're going to roll the little rum truffles in sprinkles. And you can kind of make them whatever size you want. Usually they're like pretty big, actually about this size. I want them a little smaller, so I'll just grab a piece like this, roll it, and then throw it in the sprinkles. And if your dough's a little dry, you might not be able to get them to stick that well. You can just kind of take them and press into, and then you have one. So it kind of resembles a cake pop. It just adds a little twist of the jam and the brownie. Okay, so there you have it. Danish rum truffles, or you can also call them Romkugler.